You think you're doing fine. Bills mostly paid. Food on the table. A little entertainment to numb the pain. You tell yourself you're being smart, being realistic, playing it safe. But you know what playing it safe actually is. It's playing dead. And you're so comfortable being dead that you've forgotten what it feels like to be alive. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you did something that actually scared you? When's the last time you went all in on something? When is the last time you bet on yourself instead of settling for whatever scraps the system throws at you? I'm not talking about buying a lottery ticket or making some stupid impulse purchase. I'm talking about real risk, real commitment, real power. You can't, can you? Because you've been playing small so long, you don't even remember what big looks like. You've accepted mediocrity as your ceiling. You've made peace with average. And now you're so deep in the comfort zone that the walls have become invisible. You call it being responsible, being mature, being realistic. But what it really is being scared. And here's the brutal truth. Nobody's coming to save you from that fear. Nobody's going to give you permission to be great. Nobody's going to hand you the life you want on a silver platter. You either take it or you don't. And right now, you're not taking it. You're watching other people take it while you sit there making excuses about why you can't. So first, let's talk about what playing small actually looks like. Because most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're trying. They think they're working hard. But they're operating at about 30% of their capacity and calling it maximum effort. Playing small looks like having a business idea and never starting because you're waiting for the perfect moment. Playing small looks like staying at a job that is slowly killing your soul because at least it's stable. Playing small looks like having money saved up and keeping it in a savings account, earning nothing because investing feels risky. Playing small is checking your bank account 4 times before buying something you need. It's saying, I can't afford it, when what you really mean is, I am too scared to figure out how to afford it. It's working 40 hours a week for 40 years and hoping that'll be enough. It's watching everyone around you level up while you stand still and tell yourself it is not your turn yet. It's spending more time consuming than creating, more time watching than building, more time planning than executing. And the worst part? You've convinced yourself this is normal. You look around and see everyone else playing small too, so you think it's fine. Misery loves company. Mediocrity loves consensus. But just because everyone's doing it doesn't make it right. It just makes it common. And common is the enemy of extraordinary. You want to know why you're playing small? It's not because you lack talent. It's not because you lack opportunity. It's because you lack the guts to own your potential. You're terrified of what would happen if you actually went all in. Because if you go all in and fail, you can't hide behind excuses anymore. You can't blame the system, the economy, your boss, your parents, your circumstances. You have to look in the mirror and face the fact that maybe you just were ungood enough. And that thought terrifies you so much that you'd rather not try at all. So you play small. You half-ass everything. You give yourself excuses before you even start. I'll try this, but if it doesn't work out in 3 months, I will quit. That's not commitment. That's a safety net. That's you keeping one foot out the door in case things get hard. And guess what? Things always get hard. That's the point. That's what separates those who make it from those who don't. But here's what nobody tells you. Playing small is actually more painful than going big. You think you're protecting yourself from failure. But what you're really doing is guaranteeing regret. You're choosing the slow death of wondering, what if, over the quick death of trying and learning. You're trading short-term comfort for long-term misery. And by the time you wake up and realize it, you've wasted years, maybe decades, on a life you never really wanted. Before we keep going, if this is hitting you in the chest right now, if you're starting to see how much potential you've been wasting, hit that subscribe button. We're Money Trap, and every single week we're re-showing you how to break free from the systems designed to keep you small. This isn't motivation. This is the programming. This is how you stop being a slave to fear and start becoming dangerous. So subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because what comes next is going to change how you see everything. Alright, let's keep going. Now let's talk about why you're actually playing small. And the answer is simpler than you think. You're playing small because you're living someone else's script. You didn't write the rules for your life. They were written for you. By your parents who told you to get a safe job. By your teachers who told you to follow instructions. By society that told you to fit in, don't make waves, be grateful for what you have. By a system that needs you predictable, controllable, and consuming. You've been programmed to play small since birth. And the programming works because it's wrapped in care. Your parents didn't want you to struggle, so they taught you to be safe. Your teachers didn't want you to fail, so they taught you to follow the path. Society doesn't want chaos, so it taught you to obey. None of them meant harm, but all of them built a cage. And now you're so comfortable in that cage that you've forgotten it. That's not your natural state. Playing small isn't your nature, it's your conditioning. You weren't born scared of risk. You were taught to be. You weren't born seeking approval. You were trained to. You weren't born satisfied with crumbs. You were molded into someone who's grateful for them. And the worst part? You police yourself now. You don't need parents or teachers or society to keep you small anymore. You do it to yourself. You silence your own ambition. You talk yourself out of your own ideas. You shrink before anyone even challenges you. This is what they wanted. A population that regulates its own dreams. That stays in line without being told. That works hard, spends money, and never asks for more. And you fell for it. We all did. But the difference between you and everyone else is what you do once you see it. Do you keep playing the game? Or do you flip the board? Let me tell you what happens when you stop playing small. Everything changes. Not overnight, not magically, but undeniably. When you stop playing small, you start making decisions that scare you. You stop waiting for permission and start taking action. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I win? You stop caring what people think because you realize most people aren't even thinking about you. They're too busy worrying about themselves. When you stop playing small, your energy shifts. People feel it. Opportunities appear. Not because the universe is rewarding you, but because you're finally moving with intention instead of hesitation. You're no longer invisible. You're no longer safe. You're dangerous. And dangerous people attract dangerous opportunities. When you stop playing small, you start building instead of consuming. You create instead of spectate. You invest instead of save. You risk instead of hide. And yeah, you might fail. Probably will fail. Multiple times. But here's the thing about failure when you're playing big. It doesn't break you. It teaches you. Because you're not failing from a place of weakness. You're failing from a place of strength. From a place of, I tried something hard, and it didn't work, so now I know more than I did yesterday. Compare that to the failure of playing small. The failure of waking up at 60 and realizing you never tried. The failure of spending your whole life working for someone else's dream. The failure of dying with your potential still inside you because you were too scared to let it out. That's the real failure. And it's permanent. So how do you actually stop playing small? First, you have to admit you've been doing it. And I mean really admit it. Not some surface level. Yeah, I guess I could do more. I mean, look yourself in the mirror and say, I've been playing small. I've been scared. I've been making excuses. And I'm done. Feel that. Let it sting. Because that sting is your wake-up call. Second, you burn the safety nets. You stop giving yourself outs. You stop saying, I'll try this for a few months. You commit. Fully. You put yourself in a position where going back isn't an option. Maybe that means quitting a job before you have another one lined up. Maybe that means investing money you can't afford to lose. Maybe that means making a public commitment you can't back out of. Whatever it is, you remove the escape route. Because as long as you have a plan B, you'll never give plan A everything you've got. Third, you redefine your identity. Stop seeing yourself as someone who plays it safe. Start seeing yourself as someone who takes risks. Someone who builds. Someone who doesn't ask for permission. Your identity controls your actions. If you see yourself as small, you'll act small. If you see yourself as powerful, you'll act powerfully. So change the story you tell yourself. Not with affirmations, with action. Prove to yourself through behavior that you're not who you used to be. Fourth, you raise your standards everywhere. Not just in business or money. Everywhere. The way you eat. The way you train. The way you speak. The way you show up. You stop tolerating mediocrity in any form. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're sloppy with your health, you'll be sloppy with your money. If you're weak with your discipline, you'll be weak with your decisions. Excellence isn't an event. It's a standard. And you enforce that standard ruthlessly. Fifth, you embrace the discomfort. Playing big feels uncomfortable. It's supposed to. Comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So you have to rewire your brain to seek discomfort instead of avoiding it. You have to train yourself to associate pain with progress and comfort with stagnation. That's not natural. It's learned. But once you learn it, you become unstoppable. And sixth, you stop waiting for the right time. There's no right time. There's only now. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The perfect plan doesn't exist. The perfect level of readiness doesn't exist. You will never feel fully prepared. So you move anyway, imperfectly, messily, scared. But you move. Because motion creates clarity. Action creates momentum. And momentum creates results. Now let's talk about what you're actually risking. Because everyone's terrified of losing something. Money, reputation, stability, comfort. But what are you actually losing if you play big and fail? A little bit of money? You can make that back. A little bit of pride? Nobody cares as much as you think. A job? There are millions of jobs. What you can't get back is time. What you can't replace is potential. What you can't recover from is dying without trying. The real risk isn't going all in. The real risk is spending your entire life wondering what could have been. The real risk is becoming one of those people who sits in a chair at 70, bitter and broken, talking about all the things they could have done if only they'd had the courage. That's the risk you should be terrified of. Not failure, regret. And here's what happens when you actually go big. Even if you fail, you learn more in 6 months than most people learn in 6 years. You develop skills that can't be taught in a classroom. You build a tolerance for uncertainty that makes you dangerous in any environment. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. And that proof is worth more than any success. Because once you know you can handle the hard stuff, nothing scares you anymore. But when you win, when you actually go all in and it works, That's when everything changes. Not just your bank account. Your entire existence. You walk different. You talk different. You think different. Because you've proven that the game isn't rigged against you. You've proven that taking massive action leads to massive results. You've proven that you don't need permission from anyone to build the life you want. And once you prove that once, you can prove it again, and again, and again. This is what separates the rich from the poor, the powerful from the powerless, the legends from the forgotten. It's not intelligence. It's not connections. It's not luck. It's the willingness to bet on yourself when everyone else is telling you to play it safe. It's the ability to ignore the noise and trust your vision. It's the courage to build while others watch. That's it. That's the difference. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one area of your life where you've been playing small. Just one. Maybe it's your income. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your business idea. Whatever it is, I want you to go all in on it for the next 90 days. Not half in. Not testing the waters. All in. Burn the ships. Cut off the retreat. Make it so that success is the only option. And I'm not talking about trying harder. I'm talking about operating at a completely different level. If you've been working 40 hours a week, work 80. If you've been investing 10% of your income, invest 50%. If you've been posting once a week, post every day. Whatever all in looks like for you, do that. Not because I said so, but because you're done living a life that's smaller than your potential. Because here's what most people don't realize. The biggest tragedy isn't failing at something big. It's succeeding at something small. It's climbing the ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. It's spending your whole life being really good at something that doesn't matter. That's the real waste. And you're one decision away from avoiding it. Look, I know this is uncomfortable. I know it's scary. I know every instinct in your body is screaming at you to stay safe. Stay small. Stay comfortable. That's normal. That's the programming. But you're not here to be normal. You're here because something inside you knows you're capable of more. That voice is right. Listen to it. Feed it. Act on it. Stop playing small. Stop hiding your potential behind excuses. Stop waiting for permission that's never coming. Stop settling for a life that bores you. You've got one shot at this. One life. One chance to see what you're really capable of. And you're wasting it. Right now. Today. As you watch this. You're wasting it by not going all in. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change. Today. Right now. You can decide that from this moment forward, you're done playing small. You're done making excuses. You're done waiting for the perfect moment. You're going all in. On yourself. On your vision. On your potential. And whatever happens, happens. At least you'll know you tried. At least you'll die with your potential outside you instead of locked inside. There's so much more to this. How to actually build wealth when you go all in. How to develop the skills that make you dangerous. How to rewire your brain for success instead of safety. That video is up next on your screen. Watch it, because understanding this isn't enough. You need to keep going. You need to keep deprogramming yourself from the lies you've been told. So click that video. Watch it. And start building the life you were supposed to have. Drop a comment. Tell me one area where you've been playing small and what you're going to do about it. I read every single one. Until next time, stay dangerous.